Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Psych Zone. As you can see, filming this episode of the Psych Zone on location because I am out here at Chad's golf practice. Golf season for the fall has started back up. Luckily, they are in the shade because this has been the hottest week in Georgia on record for this year. So they should be fine. He's excited to get back out there. But I thought, why not? Let's bring the Psych Zone on location out here, and we'll talk about something that I've seen a few of my friends bring up over the last couple weeks. First and foremost, for those of y'all new to the channel, I'm Zach. I'm kind of the patriarch of this channel, the father of the group here, and for about the last decade plus, I've been specializing in psychology, in teaching psychology, and I like to get into various topics here on the channel and relate them to the real world and how they might help you out. So like I said, today's topic that I wanted to talk about with all of you is imposter syndrome. I've seen a few folks dealing with this lately. Amanda, this one's for you, but of course not just you, but I know that you've been fighting it a little bit. I've seen that, or I've seen you say something to that effect. So with this, if you're unfamiliar with what this is, have you ever achieved something significant, but yet still felt like a fraud? Convinced that you don't truly deserve your achievement or your success. Well, that's basically what imposter syndrome is. And my goal with this video is to not only look at what it is, but why it affects so many of us and how it affects so many of us and how we can try to overcome it. So imposter syndrome is that nagging little voice in the back of your head that tells you that for whatever reason, you're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not deserving of enough, regardless of whatever evidence you have on the contrary to that. It's a very pervasive feeling, making you feel like a fraud, even when you put forth the work and effort to achieve the amazing and remarkable things that you have in your life. And I apologize, I can hear myself. Allergy season has hit me. I don't know if it's being back at school or if there's something in the air. But yeah, my allergies, my sinuses have been a mess. So I apologize in advance for that. But back to imposter syndrome. Let me start by sharing a personal story, because you guys know how I like to try to relate things to myself as best I can. Throughout my career, and I've been teaching for 17 years now, quite a while, I often felt like I was pretending. I often felt like I was pretending to be more competent in what I was teaching and what I knew than I believed that I truly was. That self-doubt and persistent sense or feeling of being an imposter teacher, it haunted me for years, and it held me back for a long time in reaching my full potential in what I could do in my day-to-day. So to try to overcome this, you first have to understand the root of the issue, the root of the problem. And imposter syndrome typically originates from some childhood experience, or it can come from external pressures that have been placed upon you, or even expectations or pressures from society as a whole. And that little inner critic, that little nagging voice, gains strength when we continually compare ourselves to others and fear that we'll be exposed as frauds. Um, and the effects of this are huge. They're profound. It can hinder your personal growth, can hinder your ability of achieving self-efficacy or self-actualization. It can limit your ability to advance in your professional life. And of course, it just adds more stress and potential anxiety onto your day to day. But worst of all, or at least at the top of my opinionated list, it keeps us from being able to embrace our true potential and what we could achieve in our lives. So, how do we break free from this imposter cycle? What can we do? Well, there's a few things. The first step, like with any problem, is admitting you have a problem. Okay, recognize that the feelings that you have are common. The inferior anxiety, it's common. You're not alone. And many, many, many people that are much more successful than you and I will ever be have felt the same way at certain points. Challenge that negative inner voice, that negative self talk, and reframe your thoughts, reframe your entire thought process. Instead of dwelling on what you see as potential shortcomings, focus on your accomplishments and the skills that helped you get to where you are at that point. If it helps, write them down. Keep a record of your accomplishments, no matter how small they may seem, because that simple evidence can serve as a very powerful proof and reminder of what you're capable of. Don't suffer through this in silence. Look for support, look for help, talk to somebody, whether it be a friend, a mentor, a therapist. But sharing your feelings can be a huge relief and can give you some very valuable perspective on the situation. Understand that failure is a part of life. It's a part of your overall growth. Okay, and try to reframe and reshape how you view it. It's not the opposite of success, although one would tell us it is. Okay, but rather it's a stepping stone towards how you achieve that success. So embrace your failures and setbacks as learning experiences and be able to build upon them. As I begin to wrap up and conclude, imposter syndrome, it is formidable, but it's not insurmountable. By acknowledging the situation, reframing the way you think, keeping a track of your achievements and skills, seeking support, and embracing failure and looking at it in a different way, we can conquer the self-doubt and reclaim our authentic selves and our true and full potential. Imagine a world where everyone recognizes their worth and potential without fear of being exposed as an imposter. It starts with each of us breaking free from the chains of issues and syndromes like this. Thank you for tuning in. As always, I hope this was helpful. I hope it enlightens you to something maybe you weren't familiar with or something that you may be suffering from and had no knowledge. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like down below, as it goes a long way to help our little channel out. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those below as well, because we love interacting with you guys. And if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and turn your notifications on so you never miss an episode of Coker Culture, because we've got a little bit of something for everyone here. And we are so close, just 50 subscribers away from our year-end goal of 500. So please join us and become part of our community. Until next time. What's your why?